Welcome back to episode 21 of 9 Holes, 9 Questions. And this week we're joined by Andy of 28to8Golf. How are you getting on, Andy?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Really, really good. You?
Good, yeah, wonderful, thank you. Not quite enjoying the heat as much as I'd hoped to. It always seems like a nice idea having hot weather, doesn't it? And then you
Yeah,
realise we don't
we
exactly
don't
have
handle it.
houses built for it, do we?
Yeah, we don't handle it very well. So no,
No.
I'm exactly the same. It's hot, so it's good, but then you always have that fine line of it's too hot. So,
Yeah, yeah. So when you walk into a room, you're like, yeah, I just need to walk out for a second. Yeah, just take a step back.
I don't mind this heat as long as I'm by a pool. That's the
Yeah, yeah. When it's a couple of steps away from grabbing a drink, it's a lot easier, isn't it? But makes it a bit more tolerable.
Yeah, pool and a good feed. Yeah, absolutely.
I made the mistake. I say mistake. I bought one of these big aircon units, and I thought that will save everything. But the absolute racket that it makes throughout the day. It keeps the house like a lovely temperature, but it sounds like there's something industrial going on in the front room. So,
yeah,
not sure that's quite the right way to go about it.
My son sleeps with a fan on. I'm like, I can't even sleep. How could you sleep with that on? It's so loud. So, but each to their own, isn't it? Really.
Whatever works. Whatever works.
Absolutely.
But Eddie, if you give us a bit about, who you are, where you're from, and sort of stuff that you're doing online at the moment, would be great.
Yeah. So, Andy Evans, I started a golf Instagram page a few years ago. Based in the northwest of England, so I live near Chorley,
Okay.
just south of Preston, so right next to the M6. Started playing golf quite a while ago, but very on and off. But yeah, just trying, couple of little lads, happily family man, really.
Yeah.
Love our holidays, and when we go away, I try and bring the golf clubs with me quite a bit, which I'm very lucky that I've got quite an understanding wife. But yeah, just kind of work. I've always like to work work during the week, and then that kind of funds the golf habit and obsession. So that's kind of the majority of it, but works relatively flexible. So try and sneak a couple of rounds in or a round in the midweek, and
Nice.
play as much as I can. But yeah, all good really. Yeah, can't complain.
Lovely. How have you been finding the online stuff?
When I first started, I thought I didn't really have any direction, and I think I kind of stumbled through it a little bit, struggled a bit with it. I almost set it up to kind of document going from where my page started. So I was, when I set it up, I was off about 20, but
Okay.
I was off 28. So I was off 28, and then I played, and I had I played and I come down 10 shots in a season.
Oh wow,
So,
that's amazing.
yeah, so I was really, really happy with that, and then got down to 18. Hovered around 18 to 20 for a few years, and really struggled with that. And that's when I kind of wanted to document what I was doing with it and how I could improve, what I was doing wrong, kind of documented the coaching side of it, of what I was doing, and also kind of looked at, what I could do better, where my mistakes were, and kind of got into the analytical side of it, because I was never that bothered about the analytical side of it. So, become very data driven, to kind of focus on what I can do better. And then that I went through a couple of different golf clubs, as in, membership changed a little bit. Started out at Chorley Golf Club, which is a really good club, but then when a few of my mates who I played with a lot went to another one at Bolton, and then always loved links golf. So I've always, really, really enjoyed links golf. And then an opportunity came up to join where I am now, which is St Anne's Old Links. And that's kind of I'd say that I've been there 4 years. And since then, that has really kind of sparked the online stuff. The course in great shape a lot of the time. Most of the time, it's in amazing shape at the moment. And that kind of like followed the more I got, into golf and obsessed with it, the more I kind of put it online and tried to grow it. So yeah, it's just kind of started out as a hobby. I think I started it out because my wife went to me, "Oh, all you ever do is post about golf." And I was like, "Right, well, that can be one page for family and one page for golf." So that's what I
Yeah,
did.
yeah,
And that's kind of how I got into where I am now. And it's incredible the kind of from one point to another and
mm,
how it's gone over the last 4 years as, really, I would go as far to say it's changed my life because of the people that I've met and
yeah.
the experience that I've had, which I've been really, really lucky. So yeah,
Mm,
I've really, really enjoyed it, especially the last couple of years.
mm. Comes up quite a lot. I think the golf community is something quite special compared to other sports, isn't it? Because it's this is an element of it sometimes being a complete stranger
Yeah.
that you meet on a golf course at a certain time that, in quite quick amount of time, you can get quite friendly with people more so than you would say if you were going, to the football or to the rugby or anything like that. And the online community as well has been incredible, I think.
I completely agree. I've always said for a long time, if you took someone and put them in a car for 4 hours with someone they've never met, it'd be quite awkward. Where
Yeah.
you play golf and, in the 4.5 hours you're playing, the actual time you're actually hitting the ball is relatively small.
Mm,
And I've always been a very big advocate of you kind of judge on experiences and how, and if you could go and play the best course in the world, but if you've got a playing partner who won't speak to you and it's just a bit of hard work, it kind of ruins the experience a little bit.
yeah. Yeah.
Where I think that, playing with different people, meeting different people at different places, is a big, big thing for me. And I've
Mm,
met some really, really great people who are like-minded and enjoy the same things. And then it kind of like from the golf course, it translates to other parts of your life and you become really good, close friends with people. So,
mm.
I'd completely agree with it.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, isn't it? So let's look back at your golfing history then, Andy. So where did golf really all start for you? Is it something that you played from young, or is it something you've drifted into?
A bit of both, really, because I played as a kid, um, back in the, back in the kind of late 90s, early 2000s when we'd probably get like 6 or 7 of us in like a Vauxhall Corsa because that was just you'd chuck all the clubs and you'd get 2 in the footwell and you could go and play 9 holes somewhere. So we kind of used to do that as we were kids. And then where I grew up, they opened an 18-hole golf course and a few of the lads joined when we were probably 12 or 13. I didn't. Probably played it 2-3 times,
Mm,
over the high school period. And after that, I kind of had clubs, but I'd play once a year here and
yeah.
there, or, if some of the lads would do it, going for a round somewhere, I'd tag along.
Mm.
And then the big change for me is when I worked for Mini and BMW for 10 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I was in the motor trade, and a lot of the other guys who were doing a similar job to me would be like, well, we'd be all working, and they'd be going playing Formby or Birkdale with customers and that sort of stuff, or we'd go and do like a financial services tournament day at somewhere. And I was like, well, I want a bit of that,
Yeah.
they're all running off, so and going playing all these great places. So when I was about 30. So I'm 40 this year. So when I was about 30, I thought, let's give it a go. And then kind of started playing here and there, got dug out the old clubs, then bought
Mm,
new clubs, and then really kind of started to focus on it. Um, and then joined a club, went from there, obviously got my first handicap. I really struggled. I got a 28 handicap, and I was struggling. It was a bit of a battle, and I was very focused on getting it down. I
mm.
don't know why, I felt a little bit embarrassed, being honest, about my handicap, and especially when you were going play in other places with people from work there was some really, really good players. I really, really wanted to get my handicap down, and I almost wanted it too much. So
Yeah.
through that, I kind of kept playing, worked really hard on my short game, worked really hard on my putting. I think my biggest problems have always been drivers and tee to green, really. Round the green,
Mm,
I'm quite good. Putting, I'm quite good, but yeah, that was where it kind of started and carried, took me into my mid-30s, and a really, probably from the last 6 years, because my eldest son is 11,
Mm.
and he kind of started going the driving range when he was 5, and that was when it really kick-started, because I thought, you know what, I've got a little golf companion somewhere, in the future years, so I wanted to get better
Yeah,
and
yeah.
better, and then he's kind of started, well, he's a member of 2 clubs now, and
Oh
he
wow.
so yeah, he's okay. He's just got his first handicap, and he's kind of, you can see it in him that he wants to get it down, and kind of
Yeah.
similar to myself, really, which I really like. So yeah, it's a really, really good journey, and one that's, I've dipped my toe in and out a lot, and then
Mm.
I kind of fell into it, and then I've kind of drowned in it really after that. So, so
What do you think made it go from, this is a bit of fun to, like all encompassing and an obsession? What do you think it was that sort of captured you in it?
I think when I got a proper handicap, and I'm quite a focused, like, goal driven, and kind of that type of orientated type of person.
Mm.
So I think when I got a handicap and I could measure how good I was actually going to get,
Mm.
and I'm very quite analytical with certain stuff like that. That was like a big thing for me. And I thought, well, do you know what? I can actually, if you play football, you're all right, or you never really gauge of where your level is. Where with
Yeah, yeah.
golf, you've got a very, very specific,
Mm.
how good you are on your best day, and
Mm.
it, can, in the amateur game, you could be 5 shots better or 5 shots worse than someone. And I think that's a big measure when you're playing with so many different people, but also because the handicap system, it makes it very fair to
Yeah,
play
yeah.
games. And I can remember for years when I used to play on a Wednesday night every week, and my mate we'd play 9 holes, and my mate was off 4, and then I beat him, and it's like having that kind of like, drive to get better, but
Yeah, yeah.
to be able to measure how good you are, which I really, really enjoyed, and that was a big thing for me. It's like, well, and then it was kind of everything that went round it, where I went, well, what can I do? Where am I losing shots? What's costing me? What
Mm.
what can I get better at? And then that went into lessons and obsession. Like, I've got a big, big thing on equipment. I
Mm.
absolutely love it. I'm a bit of a tinkerer. I have
Okay.
calmed
Yeah.
it down a little bit over the last year or so, but I am a proper tinkerer. And yeah, that was the big thing for me, is that I could measure how good I actually was, and if I was getting better or worse.
Right. Yeah. Well, you mentioned handicap. So so we started 28, dropped
Yeah.
10 shots, would you say in a year?
Yeah,
Was
in a
that you
season,
dropped
yeah, a good few
in the
years ago.
season?
Yeah.
Where are we at the moment?
14.3. So,
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
but yeah, so depending, generally where I play, it's playing really, really hard at the moment, because
Mm.
they've got the women's open qualifying there,
Yeah.
which, because the women's open is at Royal Lytham, which is 2 minutes away from St
Mm.
Anne's. So the rough is brutal at the moment, and if still playing okay,
Mm.
greens and everything's fantastic, but I feel like my handicap travels quite well, because when you're that kind of level at club golf and you're
Mm.
getting 16, 17 shots, because it is a tough course, it travels well. So I do like that, but I do want to get it down. Every year I write a list of targets and see how close I can get to those.
And what's the handicap target for this year?
13.
13. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
13 days.
Not a million miles away.
No, no. I think I figured out how to get it there. It's just putting it into practice. Like, I'm trying to get everything in the 80s.
Yeah.
Big goal would be to break 80. I'd be really, really happy with that.
Mm.
But my problem is I'm a good match player, because I've
Right.
got a birdie in me, but I've got an 8.
Yeah.
So that's my problem.
It's a vicious cycle, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's my off the tee is always a bit of an issue, and
Mm.
then tee to green, I can't seem to hit greens in regulation. Putting and chipping is generally very good,
Mm.
but it's tee to green is the frustrating bit. But just got to keep going and grinding at it,
Yeah.
working at it.
We can't have every part of the game wrapped up, can we? It wouldn't be
No,
fair.
unfortunately not. Thing is, though, is like I played with a guy at the weekend in a comp, and he was off 4, and it it's still the same frustrations. It's just in a different way where he's making a bogey, and he's
Yeah.
frustrated, where I'm making double and I'm frustrated.
Mm.
So it's how you manage that. But yeah, it's just there's always a frustration. It's just it moves a little bit, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No one has a perfect, even at pro level, no one has an absolutely perfect round. They're very few and far between.
Yeah,
Even if you look at the US Open at the weekend, people are walking off with bogeys and worse all over the place, aren't they? And that's the people at the highest level. Okay, it's a particularly difficult course in some
yeah.
parts of it, but no one's got it down every single hole, have they?
No. Well, the thing is, there is a guy at our club about a month ago broke the course record, and
Oh
he
wow.
still said he had a 63 and lipped out on a couple
Oh,
of putts. I'm like 63, and he's still saying, "Oh, I
yeah.
could have had this and I could have had that." So yeah, I think it's the unmasterable sport, and it is
Yes.
that's why it's so hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I just ask, playing on, how do you feel your handicap's been impacted by playing on links? Because sort of, I think there's a view that links courses are typically naturally harder unless you constantly play them. Do you think that's helped your handicap, hindered it? Do you think that's helped you play better when you go off to other courses?
Yeah, definitely. I think when you play a lot at a links course and you really have to think about wind and how the ball's going to react, to run it, you need to run it up. That does
Mm,
change how you're able to learn. To kind of I have when I joined where I was thinking I was off about 18, so I have come down 4 shots since I joined,
yeah.
and that's down to learning how to flight the ball down, learning how to, when it's softer, you can fire it all the way. When it's firm, you need to land it and run it
Mm,
up. It's not target golf. It's very much bunkers are very, very penal, roughs
mm,
very penal. The wind I've never ever in my entire life walked in off a golf course apart from once, and it was about 2 weeks ago. And it was a comp on a Saturday, and it was gusting at 50 miles
oh,
an hour, and it was
jeez.
just impossible. The ball was moving when you were putting, and it just kind of really tests you. So
Yeah.
the only problem is you don't get as many trees on links courses. So when you've got a tree lined course, it's a bit more difficult.
Mm,
But if you can hit it high and go the other way, because if you can learn to flight it down, you can hit it high. So
mm,
that does help.
yeah.
But yeah, your handicap travels well. We have like an annual match against Romilly Golf Club in Stockport, and
Okay. Yeah.
they hate me. So for some reason, I'm always away on the home legs, and
Right.
then on the away legs, I'm currently undefeated, and they don't like me very much.
Not got a good reputation around there. No?
Yeah, yeah. So, but no, it's all good fun. The cracking lads, to be fair, it is a really good do. So yeah, I really enjoy that one.
That's great. What was your turning point then, do you think, in golf? Was it a person or a coach or, a period of just your golfing journey that you thought, this is going to be everything for me?
I think when I kind of started playing competitions, that was a big turning point. And when I changed my job. I came out of the motor trade in 7 years ago.
Okay.
And then, so I was playing more and more regularly where I weren't working any weekends.
Mm,
That was a bit of a turning point. And then 7 years ago, my eldest son was kind of not, he was only young, but I thought if he wants to play,
mm,
it's just a really good way to kind of spend time with. They're not on the phone, they're not on their iPads, not on a computer.
yeah.
So it kind of like everything kind of like fell into it like that. So I'd say the turning point was when I was started to play week in, week out,
Mm,
where when I weren't playing because I was working weekends, that was I kind of couldn't get into the flow of it. And a big turning point was when I changed my job to what I do now. I could play, and I
Mm.
could play. I could finish work earlier, and go and play after work, and I could go and play, on a Saturday or a Sunday, and then I started going to other courses where I was very much just a club golfer and not played many other courses, and I kind of when I joined St Anne's, I started playing a lot more courses.
Mm.
So that was, I'd say, the big thing for me was when I changed my job, because it kind of gave me going from working every other weekend that I used to, it gave me
Yeah.
25 days a year extra
Mm.
that I kind of had more time on my hands. So
Mm.
that was a big turning point, which kind of opened up the doors to what I do, where I go and what I do now, really.
Mm. Do you think being able to, or rather, do you think playing more courses makes you a better? Because, like I say, you can be a very good club golfer, and I think some people do have like a home handicap almost, where they'll play a certain level but go anywhere else, and their scorecards out the window. But
Yeah,
do you
I
feel
think
that to get the best out of yourself, you should play as much variety as possible?
absolutely. I think playing different types of golf course. Like, I've been very, very lucky over the last 18 months
Mm.
to play a lot of very, very good golf courses, and it makes you think more,
Mm.
and it does make you better. So then, if you're playing at a hard course on a home course, but then you kind of each different type of course, because I'm really, on my page, I'm very much into different types of courses, looking for certain different things, looking at the architecture side of it, and
Yeah.
understanding what makes a good golf course a good golf course, and that kind of transpires in your game.
Mm.
So it kind of, you do travel better, and it does kind of make you a better player. If you're putting on the same greens week in, week out, you know exactly what the ball's going to do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I can remember at my old golf club at Bolton, on the 11th hole, there was a very subtle right to left break, and unless you were played there a lot, you wouldn't see it. But it was
Yeah.
quite a big break, and then you play there every week. You're flying it into the front right, and it's all feeding down to the left. So it, when you play different courses, you learn to read greens better. You learn to,
Mm.
look for the miss before you play your shot. And I think that's a big thing. And then, looking where you want to play it in the fairway, and just, instead of getting into like a robotic kind of golf where you just go, oh, I know where I'm going, I'm just going to hit it there. And you do the same
Yeah.
thing every week. So it definitely makes you a better golfer, because it makes you actually look for different things instead of
Yeah.
just playing the same course over again.
Mm. You spoke about course architecture there, and so in your opinion, what makes a good golf course?
Um, there's, I'd say there's quite a few different aspects to it. From an architectural point of view, how the hole's framed. I always think that, it's like a book, isn't it? The beginning, middle, and end are always, I know the bits in between are where it kind of are okay to be a bit weaker. For me, I always like a course that's got a really good opening couple of holes.
Yeah.
Said in the past, I'm not the biggest fan of par three openers, but it's good for pace of play. Someone
Mm.
once said to me, which I'm not too sure, but I think the turn is really important. Where, you know, you can, is it a scoring turn, or is it, you're really hanging on? For me, one of the big things that I think is a really, really good way to measure a good golf course is, if you get to the last 4 or 5 holes, are you hanging on for dear life to keep your score
Yeah.
going? I really like that. So, yeah, but I think from an architectural point of view is how holes are framed, where the bunkers are. You know, is it is the different changes in, elevation. And I love undulated fairways. I think I played Abu Dhabi, and I
Oh,
thought,
lovely.
yeah, and I loved the undulation in the fairways was
Mm.
great. Where you see a lot of courses where it's just flat fairways, and, or a little bit of a slope. I love undulated fairways, which kind of add to the style of it.
Mm.
So yeah, there's certain elements of architecture, but I always said, again, I think a big thing which is very difficult to measure is experience,
Mm.
and how you feel on, if you go to a golf course and it's not, you don't feel that welcome, it's going to affect the experience. So will that affect how you're thinking and how your mental state of mind when you play?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where I've played and the one that always stands out to me is Kings Barnes.
Mm.
When I played that last year, and the experience around the whole kind of start, middle, and end of it was just sensational. It just
Mm.
adds another layer of how to think of how a great golf course should be.
Yeah, beautiful course as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely stunning. I love it. It's been very lucky to play a lot of very good courses. It's right up my street, really. Links by the
Yeah.
ocean, bit of tree line. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I love it.
I was going to say, if you did have to rank, like, because obviously you've played an awful lot of golf courses.
Yeah.
Are there many on the list that you've not ticked off? I know there's some that may be international that
Yeah.
are difficult, but are there any, say, like UK courses that you're desperate to get to that you've not already done?
Yeah, well, I've just started a thing on my Instagram page, and I was kind of like speaking to a lot of people about I've called it the golfer's bucket list.
Okay,
So
yeah.
I'm kind of like spoke to a lot of people about it, and I always think that a lot of people talk about where they've played, but not where they want to play.
Mm.
And I'm kind of trying to open up that conversation, really. So I've done my first post last week, but in there I had three. Two are international and one's England, but there is a couple of England ones that I really, really want to do. The three that are on there in third would be TPC Sawgrass. I
Yeah.
really, really want to play that. Second was Swinley Forest because I just think it looks
Mm.
absolutely brilliant. And then the number one was County Down. But
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people's number one. The
Mm.
other one that jumps out, which I think I'm gonna play, is St George's Hill and the
Oh wow. Yeah.
Berkshire.
Mm.
That's really, really high up on my list to play St George's Hill. I just love the look of that.
Yeah.
I think since I went to, I've not played much in Surrey, and then I went in April and
Mm.
did 4 days and did, how many rounds did we do? 4 or 5 rounds. I think it was 6 rounds in the end. And loved it. So I'm back there this weekend, and then probably back there in July as well. So yeah,
Nice.
it's trying to tick off quite a few of the Surrey ones, but I'd say out of all those, the ones that's right up there is definitely Swinley,
Yeah.
St George's Hill, and the Berkshire.
Lovely. Nice courses though.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Right. You say you're a bit of a tinkerer
Yeah.
in terms of golf clubs. So, is there a favourite club in the bag? Is there a
It,
hated club in the bag, or is it constantly changing?
I wouldn't say it's constantly changing. It used to. It used to. One of my friends used to be like, "Oh, I love." I'd see him at the range, but I love looking in your bag because there's always something new in it. But that's kind of calmed down a little bit.
Yeah.
I used to change a lot of fairway woods because I struggled with it, but then
Right.
I took out a 3-wood and put in a Titleist GT280 mini driver, and
Oh, nice. Yeah.
yeah, I really like that.
Mm.
That's really good. And then I put in a 7-wood as well.
Nice. Yeah.
Been very steady with my driver for a long time. I had Callaway drivers for a long time, but I've had a GT2 since
Hmm.
they came out. I don't know if I'll change that to a GTS. I'm not too sure, but
Mm.
Um, again, similar with irons, I've not really changed them. And wedges, I've got SM8, so I've got some quite older wedges. I think they're
Mm.
3 generations old now, but they're stamped, and
Yeah, I
I
think so.
think they're quite cool. But my favourite club in the bag is definitely my putter. I've
Okay.
tinkered. I've been terrible with. I must have had. I have no idea. I collected Scotty Cameron stuff for a very long time,
Oh wow.
and then yeah, I had a massive head cover collection at one point. I think there's a couple of pictures on my page where I had about 130 head covers.
Oh wow.
And
Jesus.
yes, that got scaled down. And then I came away from a Scotty Cameron and I've had 3 or 4 labs and I've kind of settled on one now. And I absolutely love it. So
What lab have you got?
I've got an OZ1i HS, but
Lovely.
in a green head with a black Acra shaft.
Nice.
And I absolutely love it. I've still got a DF3,
Hmm.
but I found the DF3 too soft off the face, so I'd leave
Yeah.
everything short.
Mm.
From 5 foot, it was like automatic, but from longer putts, I struggled with it, but I've still got it. And then I've got a custom. I've got them down to 3 left. I've got a custom made Scotty Phantom that I had made years ago off Chris Finch, and he did a great job. And it was like, I'll always keep that. But yeah, my DF3, my OZ1i, I absolutely love it. It's so good.
I've got the DF3 in green with the white aqua shaft, and I know
Yeah,
what you mean about leaving it short. I constantly hit longer putts, and I feel like I've just not hit that enough.
yeah,
And I probably have, or whether I'm just not getting the weight right of it, or I mean, it's a lovely club,
yeah.
but sometimes I do just feel like I've hit that enough, but it feels like it's just come up way too short.
Yeah, I think that because it was one of the earlier labs, and I'm a bit nerdy when it comes to lab. I absolutely love them. I've had the centre shafted OZ1i, and then I've still got my DF3. I always think that the aluminium face is very soft,
Mm.
and I felt that because it got in my head that I was leaving it short, I'd then overcompensate with it and blast it past.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of the feedback was that that's why they brought out the DF3i with the
yeah,
insert.
the insert, yeah.
Yeah, and all the newer ones seem to have the insert, but I
Mm.
think the insert massively, massively helps with pace control. I really do.
Mm.
I think feels great, really consistent, and I like the HS. I do like the look of it behind the ball,
Mm.
a bit on the centre shaft ones.
How do you so you prefer the hill shafted rather than the centre shafted?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
do. I find it so consistent, and I find it. Well, I had 26 putts on Saturday, so I was
Oh
quite happy
wow.
with that. So yeah, putted really well. Scored okay, but yeah, putting's really, really good. So
What
yeah,
about? Sorry, go on.
no, I was going to say yeah, OZ1i HS definitely.
That's the one to keep. Well, I was going to say, if you are a bit of a tinkerer, would it take much to get it out of the bag? I imagine it's going to have to be a pretty special club to replace that.
Yeah, do you know my son? I got my son. He got a ping set, and they're really, really, really good. But the what are they called now? I can't remember the name. The kids ping set, but they replace the shafts and grip.
Yes, I've heard about this. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the quality of the clubs are brilliant.
Mm.
Really, really, really good. But the putter's head was quite small and not much
Mm.
alignment. So I had a bit of a deal with him years ago on something at school, and I kind of like probably shouldn't have said something to do with his behaviour at school. He is a really, really good lad, really, really good lad. And I kind of said, "Oh yeah, if you don't, they have like yellow sheets at school." I said, "If you don't get a yellow sheet all the way through school, I'll give you some money." Anyway, so it got to the end of he's right at the end of year 6, and he said instead of some money, can I have a spider putter? So I had to buy him a spider putter. So he likes that. But the thing is, I bought it him, and I've tried it, and I'm like, oh no, I prefer my DF3. So I prefer my lab. But yeah, so he got a spider quite recently, so he was quite happy with
Oh,
that.
lovely. I love
So
that he's asked for that rather than the cash, though. It's just,
yeah, yeah, he probably thought that the putter's more than what I was willing to
yeah,
offer him, and he knew I'd be a soft touch if I was like round playing golf. So yeah, but he likes it. He likes it. He's just getting used to it now because it's
yeah,
a bit bigger and a bit easier to line up for him. But he's kind of hitting it quite hard because he's used to having a smaller head, so he's had to hit it harder.
yeah.
Getting used to it, but no, he's doing well with it.
What about tech in the bag? Are you on for rangefinder or a GPS watch or?
I kind of both really. The reason being is I use 18 birdies. I used to have Garmin, and I really like the Garmin stuff, and I've got a Garmin rangefinder, but I found because I have an Apple Watch. I didn't want two kind of smartwatches,
Yeah,
so I got rid of my Garmin, and I started using 18 birdies, which I do like because I think the kind of statistics are very good on 18 birdies.
yeah, they are. Yeah, yeah.
But I haven't. I need to kind of tinker with it a bit more and get used to it a bit more because the rangefinder comes in handy just for kind of where the flag is,
Mm.
carry on a bunker. And I haven't really messed around with my the 18 birdie side of looking,
Mm.
what the carry is to wear. So I
Yeah.
kind of do, but 18 birdies I've been quite impressed with.
Mm.
Again, when you're looking at the stats and stuff like that, it does. I do think it makes a big difference. But
Mm.
yeah, a kind of a mixture of both. I try not to use the rangefinder as much and kind of like I like to play a bit quicker, not overly quick, but I think that a GPS watch is a little bit faster.
Yeah.
To kind of, but then I do use both.
Mm. The 18 Birdies app on the Apple Watch is quite good, I think, because numbers wise, I'm the same as you. I've got a like a GPS watch, but then I've got my Apple Watch as well. And initially, before I got it, it's a shot scope. I find sometimes it can be a little bit clunky,
Mm,
and then trying to do scores, and then sometimes you'll just zap off to another hole somewhere.
yeah,
Whereas I've never really had that issue with 18 birdies. And like I say, if you're a bit of a tinker and like the analytical side of stuff, you can do the greenside chips, you can do the sand shots and putts and everything
yeah,
like that as well. And if you go for the paid version, it gives you wind directions and all sorts and what it plays to rather than just a number. So
yeah.
it's quite a handy little tool to have on your wrist, isn't it?
Yeah, I do like it. I've been really impressed with it because I am quite bothered about hitting fairways,
Mm.
hitting greens, looking those stats, putts especially, and then looking at where I can focus my practice.
Yeah.
I'm not great as like a field player. I can't look at something and go, oh, I can't feel. I'm more get a number in my head and understand that and then play the shot where
Yeah.
I'm not, and I feel like 18 birdies gives me that.
Mm.
And I've been looking at the paid version of it and it's just kind of, I've not really got round to it. I think I was more just seeing how it went. And I
Mm.
thought, oh, well, I'll just see how it goes for a couple of rounds. And I think I'm about 25 rounds in on it now.
Yeah.
So I need to kind of sort myself out really.
It's
So
pricey though, isn't it? It's just another thing to pay for as well because they're not always the cheapest, like the paid versions on.
no, I think the shot tracking is very good on it on the paid
Yes.
version,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then as well as one thing that I really liked about my Garmin was it showed the hole on your
Mm.
screen where it doesn't show that. I believe I don't know if that's true or not, but I believe it shows like on the paid version it shows the hole on your watch,
Yes. Yeah.
which it
Yeah.
doesn't if you don't pay for it. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a go. I thought I might just do it at the beginning of next season, so then I'm not gonna play as much over the winter, and then just see
Yeah.
how I get on this year. But yeah, I do. I am a fan of it, to be honest. I think it's
Mm.
good to look at the analytical side of it, and I think it's got some really good stuff on there for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a really good tool. What's your what's a good practice look like for you then, Andy? Are you much for someone who goes up the range and works on drills, or are you someone who practices you plays?
Um, Again, I am quite. I do practice the. What I try and do is because I'm a little bit in the winter stuff. I do go to the range a lot with my son. I do practice more at the club. I think the chipping and putting facilities are really, really good, and they do have a grass range at the club.
Yeah.
So I am one of these where if I go and play somewhere or I've got a comp, I'm a turn up 2 hours, an hour and a half before my tea time,
Yeah.
and I'll work on something like I go, the other week I played at 7:10 was tee off, and I was at the club at 6:15
Oh wow.
working on swing thoughts. I do have a Garmin R10, which I use a lot,
Mm.
and I think that's a really, really good device because again, quite data driven. But it's also, you can record your swing quite easily, and that's a big part of my focus on practicing. And that's from every aspect. From say, I'll work on 30 to 50, 70-yard shots, and then go through my bag and work on, trying to. I do where I struggle a lot is iron and
Mm.
kind of into greens. So I have a bit of an early release, which I'm having lessons on and trying to kind of compress the ball better.
Mm.
But it's knowing those numbers that I focus on my practice. And I do, I'll do 40, 50 minutes on the range practice before I play because I don't like to try and change something while I'm playing. I just kind of stick to what I've got. I'm
Yeah.
trying to shallow out my swing, which is, you know, trying to do that while I'm playing. I don't want to get into that. I want to just focus
Mm.
on the shot and focus on what I'm trying to do and then practice at the range where that's where then I can really focus on a practice swing, a bit more of a routine, look where my hands are, look where where the club head is on takeaway and, how I can get through the ball a bit better. That's my main focus at the moment. But yeah, I really do enjoy practice. putting practice, putting drills, I really enjoy.
Mm.
Really enjoy it. I think again, I like getting a 2-foot square round the hole and pace out 30 foot and just
Yeah.
kind of feel 30 foot and where the putter is in relation to my right foot,
Hmm.
and kind of try and calibrate myself doing that. And I feel like that's a really good drill, and a 3, 6, and 9 foot drill, which I try and focus on a lot. Um, and I do spend a lot of time on the putting green
Hmm.
practicing, because I think that's where, at my level, that's where you can really lose quite a
Yeah.
few shots. Like every year, I was talking about, I have goals. I always try and do three comps with no three putts,
Oh,
and
wow.
I've just done it this week. So I've done 3 rounds with no three putts this season so far.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that's big focus.
It's a bit, none of us practice anywhere near as much as we should either, isn't it? So it's good to hear that you put so much effort into it. Do you think it's something that you've always consciously worked on putting, or do you think it's something that as your handicaps come down more, you've realised that you need to practice more?
Yeah, I think again, because I'm quite focused on the stats.
Hmm.
I'm looking at where I can actually improve, and then if I'm like, well, I've had 36, 37 putts in the last round, so I need to focus on that. And I think that's a big. I always try and transition from what I'm working on in my lessons to focusing on that, but also making sure that, and it happens all the time. I'll fix one thing and something else will go. Like I was massively struggling with my irons, fixed it a little bit, and then I couldn't get off the tee, and then you're
Hmm.
short, and it's just like you're chasing it, but it's just
Yeah.
kind of like making sure that you're trying to work on that and looking why you're doing it wrong. Like I went at the beginning of this season on my short game, I was leaving a lot of kind of like round the green chips really short.
Hmm.
So, and then that was affecting my putting stats. So I'm trying to kind of work with kind of couple things around. So if I'm doing a range session, I'll go and do a range session and work from fuller shots. Where if I don't go to the range, I'll warm up in the nets, but then I'll do 20 minutes, half an hour at least on short game round the greens. Like trying to get up and down, and then putting, focusing on the
Yeah.
getting three in a row, getting 6 in a row. Looking at, especially with playing links golf, one
Hmm.
thing I always try and do is from 12 foot, what it is into wind and what it is downwind, and how
Hmm.
that feels different. Because
Yeah.
so many people just think it's the same putt, and I've hit 12-foot putts that have gone 15 foot past when it's
Yeah.
downwind, and 4 foot short into wind.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's a big focus of my practice.
You made a really good point earlier, actually, about keeping the practice away from, or the practice thoughts away from when you're actually playing. Because I think I've stupidly decided to start a swing change at the start of the season, which was hindsight was a terrible idea. But the last few rounds have just been terrible because I'm constantly overthinking every swing, going, right, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this, try and do this. And then the last round, I thought, right, I'm just going to do one exaggerated practice feel, and then I'll just swing how, well, as natural as it feels at the moment. And I know it's such a big improvement over that one round. It's not changed completely, but I just stopped worrying about it so much. And then I
Yeah,
can do that grind on the range and think about, those half shot drills that we're all trying to do.
yeah. That's what I try and do. I'm exactly the same. I just try and minimize my swing thoughts. I
Mm.
don't want like a big checklist to go through. I want to kind of just go, right, well, keep your hands lower around, feel like they're around your waist when you're trying to shallow your backswing, yeah, and stuff like that. So I try really hard to kind of try and keep it simple, and I feel like I do an okay job.
Mm.
Again, still not hit a lot. If I had a pound every time someone said, "Oh, you should be, you're better than your handicap,"
Mm.
I'd have a lot of money, because it's quite frustrating. But like say, I've got a birdie in me, but I've got an 8,
Yeah.
so that's frustrating. But
Mm.
it's golf, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And on that subject, so blow up holes, how does that usually go down? Is there a horror story, or have you managed to get away with it so far?
No, there's a horror story, and there's
Okay.
there's two holes at where I play that crucify me. I'll start with the 13th is a par 3, and it's quite a long par 3. It's but the front of the green, it's a 2-tiered green, and it can play because it's at the top of the course, so it's either downwind or into wind.
Right.
But you could hit 9-iron and you could hit driver, and so it's either playing 230, 240, or playing 140. And
Oh my God.
it's and the thing is though is all short, it's gorse and bunkers and really thick rough. So it's really, really hard. And it's right next to the airport. So it's really open. So it's really windy. So yeah,
Sounds perfect.
yeah, I've had some big numbers, and that's a par 3. I've had some big numbers on that. But a blow up hole that I've always said it for a long time at saying when you play St. Anne's, if you've got a good score going and you get to the last 4 holes, you hang on for dear life. Because 15's a really, really good hole, but it's a tricky par 4.
Okay.
Again, 16 is the par 3 that is going in the opposite direction. So you get to the top of the course and there's a big tee box. One way goes to 13 and then the other way goes to 16. Right. And again, it can play either into or downwind. So again, you could hit, it's a bit shorter 16. You could hit 3-wood or, a 7-wood or something like that into wind playing 190 yards, or you could hit pitch and wedge. So it's an upside down green. But my blow up hole is the 18th at St. Anne's, because as you're coming back down, you've got 2 par 5s back to back to finish. Right. And all the way down the right hand side is a train track. And obviously you can't play golf off a train track. So if you've got a little bit of a slice, or you're battling or if the wind again is going out, the par 3s are into and down, but then coming back, it's going either left to right or right to left. Oh, so it's the last 2 holes. The 17th isn't as bad because the out of bounds is right on the fence, but in the last 12 months, they've done some work on the 18th and they've brought the outer bounds right in because there's people houses. Okay. So about 3 or 4 weeks ago, the last 5 holes, I went, and obviously I generally get just short of a shot a hole. So I went bogey, birdie, par on 17, and I had quite a good score going, 11. Oh. So out of bounds, first tee shot. Out of bounds, second tee shot. So 5 off the tee. Nice. 6 down to the middle of the fairway. 7, because the out of bounds goes right the way down from start to finish. 7th shot out of bounds. 8th, my drop. 9 onto the green, and then 2 putts for an 11. So yeah. So when you've got a decent score going, and you've got 3 holes with out of bounds, especially if you're downwind on the 16th, out of bounds long, it's hold on to your hat for dear life, really. So yeah, that's my my blow up hole, which I've had a few. I think 11's the worst, but I've had a few big numbers on the 18th which have ruined a card. But those 3 holes always cause you a nightmare.
Like what a way to bring you back down to earth after that as well.
Yeah, played really well on Saturday, and then I lost a ball because of the thick rough on the 16th. So I played a Stableford comp, and I think I had 2 or 3 points on every hole on the back 9, and then blobbed on 16 because I couldn't find the ball. So yeah, those last 3 holes are really hard, but yeah, good fun. All part of the game.
That's the thing to take away from it, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the tee shots, 2 out of bounds. Are you still holding that same club on the second, third go round? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do we all say the same? No.
It's a par 5. I've got no choice.
Yeah, that is the difficult thing, is I suppose finishing on a par 5. But
par 5. I've got no choice. But no, it is. It is. Do you know what? There's loads of room left as well because you've got the entire rest of the course to the left,
Yeah,
and it's literally, I don't know what it is. No matter how far, I always find that is no matter how far. If I aim further left, the further right I go. So
yeah,
if I
yeah,
actually just aim down the middle, I'd probably be fine. But
yeah, yeah.
I'm cutting across it with a bad swing path. And yeah, it's only going one way. The fifth is bad as well because that's out of bounds right, and that's the other side of the course. So
Is that your miss then?
yeah,
Right, you tend to get a bit
yeah,
slicey with a driver.
yeah. Open club face. My coach. I go to James Robinson.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he's a great guy, but he must have said 1,000 times to me, "Yes, the club face was open."
yeah,
I know. You don't
yeah,
need to say, "Man, let's see a big left on this one."
yeah,
So, which is very difficult. And but yeah, I do enjoy it. It's a good. So you got to laugh about it, otherwise you'll cry. Really.
yeah. And I think playing those kind of courses, like I say, big finish to a golf club, I think that makes you a better golfer overall. It's good to challenge yourself on those sort of courses as well. I think that's what overall will, because you'll know how to play those courses in the future. And like you say, when we take away and go to different courses, it just gives you a second set of skills, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it really does. And it like I say, is when you if you get if I've been at a big focus on 110 yards and in, if you
Mm,
can then play a softer golf course where you know what it's going to land at and it's not going to roll out much,
yeah.
and a bit more target golf, it becomes a bit easier.
Mm,
Where when the greens are so firm, you can't just send it to the flag. You've got to really think, or you're going to have to clip it and spin it, which is quite difficult to do off link style turf.
yeah. Yeah.
That is, there's a lot more thought to a lot
Mm,
more thought to doing it.
yeah. Absolutely. Well, let's step away from golf for a second then, and let's look at sort of Andy behind the golfer. So, work, family, any other hobbies? What's life like for you right now away from the golf course?
Works really good. I work in contracting in construction, so it's a little bit different,
Okay.
and work for quite a niche type of company.
Mm,
But works really good, really busy, and keeps me on my toes. But it also funds the golf trips. That's the
yeah.
funds the golf trips. Yeah, spend a lot of time with my two lads. My eldest is 11 and my youngest is 6. Currently, I coach my 6-year-old football team,
Oh,
which
lovely.
is hard work, but I do enjoy it, but it's hard work. And then, my wife's really supportive. My wife's been brilliant especially when my eldest son started playing, you play on a Saturday, you come home shattered, she's like, "Are you taking him tomorrow? He needs to play. Come on, you need to take him tomorrow." So
Mm,
kind of, that's gone full circle where sometimes I'm like, "Oh, I just want a day off."
yeah.
But then, yeah, that's really good. So yeah, life's really good. Really supportive family. We really love we spend as much time as we can on holidays.
Mm,
I backpacked when I was 22, so we've got a big kind
nice.
of travel bug in our family. We kind of go different places and take the boys to kind of see different cultures and
Mm,
experience different ways of life, and try and teach them that our way of life and our kind of culture isn't necessarily the right way to do it. Or
yeah.
you've got to understand that different people live in different ways and there's no right
Mm,
or wrong way of doing it. And you respect everyone and their wishes and how they want to live the life. And it is a big thing for us to kind of travel and see
yeah.
different places. And every so often I do take the golf clubs with me when we go away.
Will the younger lad be getting into golf? Do you think, or is he avoiding it at the moment?
No, he's quite good, but he's a lunatic. So I don't think he's got the temperament yet. He's
Right.
very energetic, very um yeah, he hasn't got the attention span for it yet. But yeah,
Right. Yeah.
he's getting better at football, but
Mm.
yeah, he's not quite ready. I don't think the golf course is quite ready for him, to be honest. I think he's not. He's ready, but the golf course isn't. So
Maybe he needs something a bit faster paced. Then
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and he wouldn't be happy with walking that far.
Yeah.
He definitely wouldn't be. He would complain and he wouldn't give it a rest. But no, they're both really good lads. To be fair, they are really good.
Oh, that's lovely. Has it been nice watching your son transition in golf? And like you said, he's becoming like quite a good little player in his own right, and he's got his handicap. But that must be quite nice to experience that from someone who's recently, sort of got more and more into the sport.
Yeah, it's been really, really good. I'd say that the golf club have really welcomed him,
Mm,
made him feel, and he's quite a chatty, confident lad in a way that
yeah.
he'll play. Like we played around a couple of weeks ago with well, about a month ago with James Addy and Chris Kelly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. And there was us, them two, me and Ollie. And Ollie's just chatting to him like they're anyone else. And he's just got he just knows how to speak to adults. And that's what I really like about seeing that transition for him,
Mm,
that he can hold his own and speak and, crack a few jokes and stuff like that in a really positive way. And he's got that from golf. One
yeah.
thing that I
Yeah.
really do like is he joined a club. He's a member at St Anne's with me, but then he's also a member at Shaw Hill, which is about 2 miles away from our house.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and he plays there with a couple of his mates from school. And the kind of class is quite split in
Mm,
when they go to high school. So they go to high school in September, but he plays with lads from his school as well. So when it's summer and half terms and stuff like that, I'm hoping he kind of goes, well, just drop me off at the golf course and I'll go and play 36 holes and that
yeah.
side of
Yeah.
it. So he does, I do love that aspect to it. And I think it's taught him the etiquette and the respect. And the golf club has been really good because they're doing lessons on where you should stand and all the stuff that you would never learn.
Mm,
You could swing a golf club, but do you know where to stand when you go into the next hole? Do you know when to speak and when not to speak? And the golf club have been really supportive of teaching him that, and that's something I've really enjoyed seeing him change in that way. Not
yeah.
just
Yeah.
playing golf, but the kind of the things that are very difficult to teach an
Hmm.
11-year-old on the golf course.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a wonderful way for them to. It's almost maturing them without forcing
Yeah.
forcing it and then taking it out of the comfort zone. It's allowing them to do it at their own pace as well.
Yeah. It's kind of nice because it's in an environment where a lot of people who's playing with are very friendly, but he's
Yeah.
also, he takes it in the right way. Where if someone says, "Oh, just stand there," or just do that, he understands that they're trying to help him, not tell him off. So
Mm,
it is a really good environment for him, and yeah, it's definitely helped his confidence.
yeah.
And then, but he's again quite obsessive, where he just wants to get better, and you know, I'm like, well, there's a we've got a putting mat.
Mm,
Just do 20 minutes a day putting, and but it's hard to get him to do those bits. To kind
yeah.
of
Yeah.
like, he wants to put minimal effort in and maximum output.
Yeah. Don't we all?
Yeah,
Has he got the desire to beat Dad yet? Is that? Do you reckon that'll be long before he's chasing you down the handicap ratings?
I think he'll come down quick. He's got a
Mm,
great swing. When he learns to kind of manage his emotions a little bit, he'll be really good, and I think he'll be chasing me down, which will
yeah.
be really annoying because I won't take that well. No, yeah, but no, I reckon by the time he's in the next 3 to 4 years,
Mm,
he could if he stuck at it and put quite a bit of effort in, I think he'd be a very good player.
yeah. You said he's got a handicap already, or is he getting one at the moment? What sort of level is he playing at?
He's at 54,
Oh, okay.
but
Yeah.
it's oh no, is he? No, he's not. He's at 52. He got a 54 and then it's come down a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's quite difficult because of when you put three cards in. I don't think it's a true reflection. I think
No.
you need at least 10 to 15, and
Mm,
obviously get to the 20. But also it's quite difficult because 9 holes don't reflect it as well,
no. No. No.
and when it's a long walk and he plays football and plays
Yeah.
various different bits. Yeah, like we play a lot of paddle,
Mm, okay. Yeah.
and all four of us play together. And yeah, it is a tough. It's quite hard for him, and I think
Yeah.
that's where mentally he struggles a little bit. Where if
Mm,
he tries to play 18 holes, he he'll struggle a little bit. But he asked me to set up an Instagram page for him, so he's got his own little page as well. So
oh, okay.
something separate. So yeah, I think is it at top 100 junior. So
Okay.
he wants to play all the courses, but all the top England top 100 before he's 18. That's his goal.
Oh wow,
So yeah, he's played a few already.
that'd be some achievement.
Yeah, yeah. I thought he said he came up with the idea, and I was like, yeah, I'll set it up for you. So yeah, it'd be a good little. It'd be interesting when he gets into the last few. But yeah, he's played a few already, with a few more coming up.
Nice. I'll have a look at that after. I'll pop a link in that to the description as well. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
that'd be cool. He'd be happy with
Yeah.
that.
Right. So then let's look at pressure and mental health. And, if you're going through a bit of a tough patch, Andy, whether it's on course or off the course in life, do you tend to have tips and tricks, and do you have a bit of a toolbox to help you deal with those sort of things, or how does that usually play out for yourself?
Yeah, I've always been quite lucky where I've been quite strong focused, and when my mind wanders, I do try and re-engage it in a way where, if I've not got something going on, I'll try and find something to book
Yeah.
or something to look forward to. And I've always trying to think forward. Like, I'm a bit of a planner.
Mm.
I like to kind of have things coming up. I like to have things going on. Um, One thing that did affect me quite a bit was I had an injury last year that I couldn't play at all. I had a slip disc that was sat on my sciatic
Oh.
nerve.
Mm.
So I couldn't walk properly for 10 weeks. I
Oh,
couldn't
Jesus.
play for 2 or 3 months.
Mm.
But I was adamant on booking things in with a goal. And
Yeah.
I've always been so goal orientated. It helped me refocus my mind. And I think that's been something that I've always used to try and focus and
Mm.
try and stay positive and, look at the mental side of it, which I feel like I've done quite well.
Mm.
And like, I think through lockdown, for example, I kind of yeah, I struggled a bit with that. I
Yeah.
was very well supported by my wife and my kids, but I I always want something that I need to look forward to. I think that's
Mm.
I'm almost like I'm tricking my mind to focus on something else to look forward to. That's where I've always tried to work on and have something booked that I can focus elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, you said you're a very analytical person. Do you think you always need a target, whether it's a target of something to achieve or a target of something to do? Do you think
Yeah,
you've just always been that nature?
yeah, very much. I've always been quite goal driven through my career,
Mm.
and then very kind of goal orientated around golf, and then I'm always looking for the outcome,
Yeah.
like, even where I'm kind of orientated, like where I'll go, oh well, I really want to go there on holiday, so how do I make that work? So then it's almost like a game to myself to kind of make it work. I always say to my son, we always find a way,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
matter what. I kind of try and focus on, you know, finding a way to make things happen and achieve those targets.
Mm. You mentioned COVID. I mean, that sort of took all structure and routine away for most people. Having that sort of target driven mind, if you don't mind me asking, how did you cope with that? Because there was for a lot of people there was no end goal, was there? Because deadlines kept getting extended, and things were on then off again and off again. I mean, that must have been fairly hard to manage with your sort of brain, if you don't mind saying.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. And I think what really worked for me was my wife was very, very, very strong minded. I think
Mm.
we were, when COVID hit, my youngest son was really little.
Yeah.
He was, I'm trying to think, he was born in the July the year before.
Mm.
So in the March, when we went into lockdown, he was 8, 9 months old.
Mm.
My youngest had just started school.
Mm.
Sorry, my eldest had just started school. So she was and I feel like that kind of like helped me a lot, because she was so good with the kids, and she was looking after our 6, 9 month old and
Mm.
homeschooling my eldest. And I think that kind of really helped me focus on supporting her.
Yeah.
I'd say it was trying to support her more than anything. But then, the nice weather made it okay. We
Yeah.
were all right. We were all safe, and we were lucky that we got an ice back garden. So we had, and the weather was great. So we had the paddling pools out, and
Mm.
I think because Harry was so young, it kept us busy,
Yeah. Yeah.
which definitely took away a bit of the overthinking of things. And maybe I didn't, it was subconsciously, the goal was to make sure he was having a good upbringing and developing as a a young child, but
Yeah.
also my son was being homeschooled.
Mm.
So that was a big distraction, and
Mm.
maybe I just wanted to support her because she was doing so good with the kids during
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
And I was just desperate. I feel like the good thing for me is I'm quite a vocal venter.
Mm.
So, like, how many times I watch the news and add a moan at the news that the golf courses were closed. I'm like, I'm nowhere near anyone. And
Yeah.
I'm out in the open when the sun's glorious and everyone's, like, every other country's playing golf. Why aren't we playing golf? And that was kind of, I feel like that kind of helped me vent
Yeah.
my frustration.
Mm.
But I think a definite thing was a distraction of the boys being so young.
Yeah.
We just had to focus on them and make it as good as we could for them.
Yeah. Well, I suppose, like I say, your older son starting school, that's a pretty precious time as it is, and
Mm.
never mind then having to do it all at home and make sure you're getting that right because, your youngest being born and you've got, well, we all know how busy that is. There's enough going on, let alone not being able to take them, go to all these baby classes and
Yeah, exactly.
musical
That was
bumps and all that sort of stuff.
yeah, that was the thing. So I think a big thing was a big focus on getting out, doing our walk a day, and that was like a big focus for it. But yeah, we I feel like we dealt with it quite well
Yeah.
as a family. But I'd say I can complete for example, my older brother, he was going through a divorce, and
Mm.
he'd moved out from his daughters and his ex-wife in the February, and then we went into lockdown in the March,
Mm.
and that was really, really difficult. I can
Yeah. Yeah.
completely understand that. That was a very, very, very difficult time for
Mm.
people who were in that sort of situation where you can get very lonely. And
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you're living on your own, it's definitely we were very lucky,
Mm.
very
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with hindsight, it's all, yeah, well, I think less said about that period, the better, isn't it? And on a lot of things.
I always think, will we look back in it? And obviously, I don't know, how I feel about media propaganda, but will we look back in it in 25 years' time and go, what an overreaction, or how we
Yeah.
will look at it in history? It'd be very interesting to see what happens with that.
Yeah, I think you're right there. 50 years time, it would all be blip on the radar, wouldn't it? And maybe a bit
Yeah,
of a,
yeah,
we shall see. Well, speaking of, well, not quite 50 years time, but let's fast forward a few years then, Andy,
yeah,
and let's say golf, life, kids, everything goes, as we're planning it to. How
yeah.
does that look for you, do you think?
Well, with the Instagram page, getting to an 8 handicap,
Yeah.
that's the number one goal. Yeah, that's a big focus, around golf is get it, because when you're playing off 8, you get in 9 or 10 shots. That would be like the ideal number.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever going to get lower than that. And I'll be honest, I don't really have an aspiration to, but that is one thing I would love to achieve.
Mm.
And doing that journey right the way through and kind of documenting it from start to finish. Um, I think the swing's in there. I think the mentality's in there, especially since my injury. My kind of thought process to a bad shot has changed, where I do kind of laugh more things off
Yeah. Yeah.
than getting frustrated with it. Because from a mental point of view, taking something away from what you really love doing and playing golf and taking it away and you can't physically walk,
Yeah.
that was a big impact on me. So that was kind of that reevaluated. So when I did start playing again, I really enjoy it more.
Mm.
And getting to, that goal of, in the next so many years, would be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
definitely ticking off as many golf courses in my list as I can. I have got quite an extensive list. And to be honest, it doesn't really seem to go down. It seems to, you play one and you add one. So you'll be watching a YouTube video and go, oh, yeah, Black Desert in the US looks absolutely mega. So I'm like, that goes on. And then, there's a lot of other trips. But yeah, I'd love to kind of tick as many courses off as I can, especially, in the a big focus for me has always been top 100 for GB&I and top 100 for England, and then throw some random American ones in there. Definitely. So that'd be great. And then, to grow the channel, I feel like to grow the Instagram page would be, a really, really good. I've never been massively bothered about numbers, but, sometimes you post a video and you think, oh, this is going to be brilliant. And then it's not. And then you think you post a video and you think it's going to be rubbish and it goes really, really well.
Yeah.
So
it's usually the ones that you've spent absolutely no time on that do really well, and the ones you've spent hours editing to just absolutely flop, don't they? Yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got, that's definitely true. Literally, I think that my best video I ever posted it took me about 5 minutes to edit. And I just thought, that's a bit of an idea, and throw it up, and it was like, I was like, after a day, I was like, my God, that's like miles better than anything I've ever done. Yeah, definitely that. And I'd really like to kind of help my son with his kind of his page, but just playing golf with him. It doesn't have to be it's not always about top 100 courses for me. Like I played a course a couple of weeks ago, Sandy Way near Chester.
Okay.
And it was absolutely brilliant. Loved it. And it was, random one that I just thought it's not really not super well known, but it's not, and it's in great condition, great course, really different, quite quirky. Really enjoyed it. And I just want to kind of get out there, play as much as I can, go to different places, and then, show him what the top courses look like. And it's not the be all and end all to only play the top courses. It's nice, but it's not everything. Meeting those people and meeting like-minded people and who have similar interests, that's a big thing for me. And I've kind of met a lot of people through Instagram mainly who have kind of become part of that journey, and that I want to kind of develop that with them over the coming years.
You talk about the top 100. How many have you ticked off so far then?
Of England, in England and GB&I, it's about 30 each.
Oh wow, it's a decent amount.
Yeah. I would say a lot of it is, a big thing was I played, helped a lot with Ginger Golf, Josh Simpson. It helped a lot with his world record, and he's helped me tick quite a few off. But he's part of the bucket list stuff, so it'd be interesting to see what everyone else's bucket list is. So we can try and help other people tick a few off that they didn't think they'd ever tick off. That's a big kick for me, really. Helping people have, the doors that have been opened for me. I feel like I've been very, very lucky. And I kind of like to help other people have a couple of those doors open for them, which they didn't think they would, which is probably the biggest thing over the coming years that I'd really like to achieve.
I did sort of want to talk to you about the Ginger Golf and the world record attempt, but I sort of also wanted it to be about sort of you and your side of stuff, but sort of, you don't always want to talk about the elephant in the room, but if you do want to talk about that.
Absolutely. I loved it. How it started for me was, I'm quite a selfless person. I can be quite, my wife would disagree, but I'm quite a selfless person. I have a strange need to feel like I like helping people, and I never do it with an agenda to get anything in return. I'm not interested in that. I want to do something to help people. So I met Josh again through Instagram, the year or so before, and just ended up playing at Woodhall Spa with him. I recently played it with Ollie as well. So Ollie's played with Josh a few times.
Nice.
And I played with him at Woodhall Spa in between Christmas and New Year, and it was so foggy you couldn't even see it. But then I played with him at St Anne's, and I
Mm.
said, "Oh, if you ever during his world record," and I set up Fairhaven and St Anne's with him. I just said, "If you ever need anything, just let me know." He
Yeah.
went, "What?" And then he rang me a couple of days later. He was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "If you need any help with anything, let me know." And he went, "Well, if I add you to a WhatsApp group, can you just help out with a few bits?" And it kind of went from there to being what I felt a really, really important part of it. And
Mm.
we become such a close team and group of mates, the three of us who kind of really focused on it. It was just so good. You couldn't have been involved in anything better.
Yeah.
Apart from I had, on the last day at Prince's,
Mm.
had possibly the worst round of golf of my life. And it was, I had TV cameras, photographers, all because me, Josh, his dad, and Alex, who was involved with it as well, all
Mm.
playing together. And Josh just could not stop laughing because I couldn't hold anything. And there's a picture of him. I think it was on another podcast, and he's laughing in the picture of, like, for the thumbnail of it, and he's laughing at me because I was just oh shit. But yeah, I don't like princes.
Yeah. I'm
So
uh, I'm based down that way, so I'm based in Kent, and I was
yeah,
actually going to travel down and just walk the course and watch. But I remember seeing how horrific the weather was, and I was like, no, I couldn't imagine playing in that, let alone walking around. It must have been. I mean, it gets fairly windy down there on a good day. Never mind on a day like that.
yeah. Well, I played the day after at Knoll Park. That was a really good. And then
Oh yeah, yeah,
I was 20 shots better.
yeah.
So it's like, what is going on? But yeah, I absolutely loved it. You know,
Mm.
I absolutely loved every second I got. The what opened my eyes most of it is how good the golf community is.
Yeah,
It was just so many people did so many things to help him, and for for all the right reasons.
mm.
He raised a fortune for charity.
Mm.
Brought some awareness through the Sky Sports kind of the documentary.
Yeah,
Social media was great, and he taught me a lot about how social media on my page, and
yeah.
really helped me on that. And the whole thing was just such a brilliant part of my life.
Mm.
And I felt like I was busy then, but it freed up a lot of time when it finished, and it was a bit bizarre, really. But yeah, it was the best thing. I absolutely loved it, and I'll be forever mates with him. He's coming to stay with me actually when he's
Oh,
at the Open. So yeah, I speak to him loads. So yeah, it was such a perfect storm.
mm.
I think he was asked the other day, would he ever do it again? I was convinced that if we all three of us did it from the start and got into the flow like we did, he could break 700.
Jesus,
But
that's
well,
it's beggars belief, isn't it? Because it's such a huge amount of courses to play in a year. Like, I mean, I don't know how. I mean, physically, that must have been pretty hard going on him on some of the busier days.
yeah, well, when it was brilliant. I remember him. I got heavily involved when we went into Scotland.
Mm.
We had hardly any course invites, and it was phone calls, and it was the thing is you get to a point where you start to ask the unaskable, like
Mm.
trying to get him out on a Saturday morning in summer in Scotland
Mm.
is difficult. But then when you're saying to clubs, can you let him go out before any of the members on a Saturday
Yeah.
morning because he wants to play? He did 9 days of 54 holes a day,
Jesus Christ.
and then 87 days of 36 holes, and it was just incredible. And the only reason he stopped doing 36 holes is because one of the courses was closed, and he played every day. And
That's unreal.
his mentality was incredible. When he was unwell, he kind of we tried to pick him up. When he was like, I feel like he mentally dealt with it extremely well,
Yeah.
and it become like a job.
Mm.
But it was a job without a day off, and it was like, this is bonkers.
Mm.
And then the very last day, because we got him a putter and we got him a lab,
Yeah.
and it had his logo on, and it said 652.
Mm.
And on the last day, we were driving down to Prince's, And he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna bin this one off." It was hammering down, and I mean hammering down. We're like, "No, you have to play two today." And we made him play, and we went to I can't remember where it was. It was somewhere right near Prince's,
Mm.
and it had like a big manor house as next to the clubhouse and a
Oh,
hotel.
okay.
And we went and met him after it, and I'm not joking, he looked like he'd been swimming in the ocean. He was just absolutely drenched. He was like, "You've got to explain why," because we wouldn't tell him. Like,
Yeah.
"You've got to explain why I had to play two today." And we were like, we just wanted to push you. We thought it'd be funny. So yeah, it was great. But he did a brilliant job. It was everything, all the plaudits that he gets is thoroughly deserved.
Mm.
And we've got we did a Surrey trip. He organised a Surrey trip for us as like a
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you, and it was just incredible.
It wasn't. I mean, if you look at it from the outside, you assume there is an army of people behind him doing all of this, but it was quite a small team of yous getting all this organised, wasn't it?
Yeah. So when Alec, when Josh started, I think he had one or two people who would dip in and out,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't say they wouldn't help him. They just, I think the thing that when Alex came on board, I remember him saying, and he said it a few times, where he just simply didn't have enough time in the day to play 36 holes,
Mm.
ring or, speak to clubs and do all the day-to-day stuff like eat and shower and everything like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He just didn't have enough time to do it. And then Alex got involved. And Alex is like a computer tech whiz. He's absolutely brilliant. And he started putting together the routing where Josh would drive 20 miles this way, 20 miles back this way. And Alex started putting together all the routing and clubs that would qualify,
Right. Yeah.
because the stipulations were so quite stringent from Guinness, where it said, it had to be over 6,000 yards and
Mm.
various different things. So you had to have like a full checklist that someone could play with him.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was out on the road on his own. So getting the club not only to allow him to play the golf course, and then also someone from the club had to verify and walk round or play with him.
Mm.
It was just so difficult. So Alex got involved, and then I think Alex got involved 100 days before I did.
Right.
Then that's when I wouldn't say we didn't gather. We gathered a lot of momentum, and we were kind of bouncing ideas off each other.
Mm.
I floated the idea of Northern Ireland.
Mm.
We always knew we'd go abroad in January because courses were closing, and he was
Yeah.
running out of courses here. So that was always like the plan. But yeah, it was mainly Stuart Golf were a big sponsor. Caddy comps were, but they didn't have people in the day-to-day running of it, where the day-to-day running of it was predominantly Josh, myself, and Alex managing course invites, managing speaking to courses. And, I was quite lucky because when I got involved, it had a lot of validation and a lot of, like say, if you ring a golf course and say, well, I'm attempting to break the world record for most golf courses played in a year. And they go, right, how are you getting on? He goes, well, I'm 4 days in and I've played 6 courses. It's quite a difficult conversation, but
Yeah.
when I think the numbers, he was up to about 25 grand raised for charity.
Yeah.
When I get involved, and you ring people and people are staggered because you go like, well, in 200 days, he's played 360 courses, and it just kind of validated it and made it quite a lot easier for me when I got involved to kind of justify them allowing, because most of the golf courses just let him have courtesy of the course.
Yeah. That's
And it
amazing.
was so good. And that's what I mean about the golfing community. You had, captains and presidents and secretaries or greenkeepers or, members who were just love to play with him because he's got such a great story and a part of such an amazing thing that he did.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, fantastic thing to be part of.
Yeah, it really was. I was very lucky to be a part of it. And again, he opened up doors that I would never have thought would have been possible, which has been brilliant for me. And, that's why I think we'll always be really, really good mates, because he's just, we all get on. We all have a very similar sense of humour.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was
That's
great.
lovely. Thanks for sharing that as well.
No, so anytime.
Righty. I think you've been brilliant. Thanks so much for coming on. If you could tell everyone where they could find you, that would be great.
On Instagram, and it's 28to8Golf.
And what was your son's handle again? We'll keep that.
It's top 100 junior on Instagram.
Top 100 junior. Right. Well, we'll put links in the descriptions to both of them. Thank you again, Addy. You've been brilliant. And yeah, hopefully we'll manage to bump into each other soon at some point and get around in some way.
I do want to come down to kind of that side, that Kent again, because I want to, there's a few courses I want to tick off. So I really want to do Semport and Littlestone and a few other bits around there. So
yeah, definitely. Well, give me a shout when you're down this way. I'm sure we'll be able to get some booked in, 100%.
But I was going to say, if you're up this way anytime, love to take you on St. Anne's. It's a good track. So yeah, it'd be great anytime up here. No problem.
Lovely. I'm possibly coming up for the Open. I do have tickets for the Saturday. So
I do. So do I.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, I'll see you there anyway. But I'm trying to work out whether I stay in and around it or I do up there and back in a day. But we'll sort that out. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, drop me a message on the Saturday, because I go every year with Ollie.
Oh, okay. Brilliant.
Yeah. So this is our 5th year in a row.
Oh, wonderful.
So if you fancy like meeting for it's quite easy to kind of meet for breakfast.
Yeah.
So if you fancy meeting up, it'd be great to kind of catch up then. I'd love that.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Love it. I'll drop you a message on that. Wonderful.
Brilliant.
Right. Thanks again, Addy. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
See you later. Bye. Bye.
That was another round of 9 holes, 9 questions. Huge thanks for listening. I hope their story in golf and everything behind it gave you something to think about in your own game and your own life. If you enjoyed this episode, it really helps if you follow the podcast, leave a rating or review, and share it with a golfer who you might feel will get something from it. You can find me over on social media as Golf Saved My Life. Come say hi, tell me your favourite hole from this episode, or let me know who you'd like to hear on the show next time round. I'm Sam. This is 9 holes, 9 questions, and I'll see you on the next tee.